Thought he was terrific. Came out pounding the strike zone. Really good to glove side. Thought the breaking ball was sharp too. I just everything came out of his hand. It was a quick arm. Looked like it got on the hitters. A little bit of deception, but looked like he'd been here for a while, and that's hard to do. But the stuff was going to play. The changeup was good. Fielded his position really well, held runners. I mean, just a lot of little things that we were hoping, that we always hope to see. He looked advanced, especially when you take into consideration his age.
The composure he showed, especially I think in the fifth inning when he had runners on and struck out Zimmer to end it. I mean, what does that tell you about just how he's able to pitch?
Yeah, once again, I think that would go into that category of advanced, because he's got a right-handed hitter that he's being careful with and not giving into and straw, and realize that he'd rather take his chances against the lefty and makes tough pitches. And that was really the only walk. And that was when we were encouraging from the side for him to be able to put all that into play to try and get a chase and then go after the left match. It was, again, you just don't see many young pitchers be able to think their way through that and then execute.
Lynn?
Yeah, Mike, particularly for a kid that young, I mean, did you notice anything that as far as just, nerves or just the moment for him? I mean, because we've seen, some guys this year, you guys have had a few young guys come up, but it didn't seem like it was noticeable with him. I don't know if you noticed anything.
No, I didn't. I'm sure if we had a monitor on him, his heart rate would have been a little elevated. And I would hope every single guy that walks onto a major league for the first time has that feeling. That's one of the signs that this is special, and how much you've invested into being there. And so I know he was excited. But this guy, he did the same thing in spring training. He just had a presence about him. When he got on the mound, it was business, and he knew what he wanted to do. And then it comes down to execution. We have a number of guys who get up here and have a good plan, but to execute it while you have adrenaline and while you have the excitement of reaching one of the goals that you set for your life, it's hard to do, and he did a great job today.
Alex?
Yeah, I just have one more on Zerpa. It looked like he was pitching inside to both sides of the plate, and I just wondered what that says as well, and how important that is for a guy that young to do that.
Yeah, he made it very clear in the pitchers meeting that this is how I need to pitch. Obviously that had everybody's attention, like, okay, and now let's go see it. And he wasn't just giving lip service. I mean, he was pounding the zone and pounding in and not afraid to. And that just, how many times have we talked about that? There's beauty about being down and away, and they're outs there, and he can make that pitch. But especially when you start talking about being able to speed up for a changeup or speed up for an off-speed pitch, it's a great weapon to have if you have confidence in it. And he had a ton of confidence today.
Bert?
Mike, what did you think of Salvi's night at the plate?
Yeah, impressed with ability to get to second base on that ball. I mean, he was moving better than I thought he would, actually. Swings looked pretty good. Didn't look like he was favoring too much. Some of it is, he's got a significant tape job on that ankle too, so it's not going to allow him to have the mobility that he'd normally have. We just need to restrict that and support it. So that might be part of, but I didn't think we'd see a double today. He wants to be out there, and we want him out there, and so does everybody that's ever cheered for this club. So I'm hoping that he just feels better each day.